Hello everyone, how are you today? Welcome back to SEDA College Online for one more class. Today again we have a follow-up class. If you remember, in our last lesson we talked about the passive voice. And this time we will learn a few alternative forms, but we will also talk about a very interesting topic that is related somehow to our grammar as well. So, in order to get you started, I will give you this question. How independent do you feel today? And generally, you can tell me in the comments how independent or how dependent you are as people. Do you depend a lot on others? Do you prefer other people to do things for you? Or you want to do things on your own and you feel that you don't need any help or support. So, first we'll start with a little bit of reading, and we are going to read about dependent people. Specifically, we're going to read three things that might be common for dependent people. So let's go and read together. This is number one. Dependent people have difficulty making everyday decisions without advice and reassurance. The key here is everyday decisions. If you're going to make a major life change, of course, you would talk over your decision and get opinions from family and friends. But a dependent personality faces everyday decisions from a position of hesitation and fear. The difficulty is the terror of being wrong. So you can see that this is part of an article from Psychology Today. You can see the link at the bottom of the slide. And I want you to comment a little bit on our first part. Do you know people who have difficulty making simple everyday decisions? Maybe are you one of these people? And you can also go to the comments and give me a few examples that you have experienced. What types of decisions might be difficult to make for a dependent person? Do you have personal experience about something? And of course, something that I want you to keep in mind is that if you have any words that you are not sure what they mean, you can ask me in the comments and I will explain them for you, okay? So let's continue to see one more thing that dependent people may do. That's number two. They need others to assume responsibility for many major areas of life. In the title, you can see assume responsibility. This means to take responsibility. So, asking for help from another person in a major area of life is one thing. Expecting that other person to take over responsibility for you is another. People with dependent personalities give up control of major areas of life to another person out of fear. Life challenges can take on the dimensions of insurmountable difficulties and are therefore seemingly impossible to deal with alone. So here you see that they don't just depend on other people to help them. They want to pass complete control of areas that might make them feel afraid to other people. Here I have underlined the word insurmountable. I don't know if it reminds you of something. Maybe you can connect it to the word mountain. You have the word mount. So insurmountable, something very, very difficult to overcome. An insurmountable difficulty, an insurmountable problem. It's a really nice word, actually. I really like that. And again, if you have any other questions, please tell me. Now, let's go to the third part and the last part. They struggle to start projects or do things on their own. Dependent people fear exposure because it may cause others to realize how worthless they really are. Um, One comment here, of course, what they believe. It does not mean that they are worthless. They fear having failures and weaknesses on public display. One way dependent people avoid failure is to avoid taking the initiative. Of course, if you don't do something, you will not fail. They don't put themselves out in front of others by taking the initiative or promising results. If they believe they are doomed to fail at a task, they are not motivated to engage in that task. They are not motivated, they are motivated to avoid it. So the moment they see something difficult, they just avoid doing it. So these were the three characteristics that I want to talk about. And again, you can go in the comments and tell me if you have any experience in relation to that, and if you have any examples that you can give me. Okay, I'll just give you a few seconds if you have something to tell me. All right, so I'm going to show you now a few things, a few sentences that a dependent person could say. The first one is, I had my sister call the bank to ask for information. So there are people who feel really, really afraid to call someone and ask for information. They feel very uncomfortable talking on the phone with someone they don't know about things that they don't know. So that's a classic example. I had my sister call the bank for me. Another thing that a dependent person could say is, I always get my friends to drive me here and there. So I don't have a car, I don't want to get a car, but I also don't want to get public transport because I may feel uncomfortable. So my friends or family drive me everywhere. Another thing is, I'm having my husband do the chores related to public services. There are many people who have fear of public services, going to public services, talking to people there, and dealing with the bureaucracy. So that could be a classic example. And one more sentence. I will get my mother to pick up my medical test results. Um, This could be dependency due to laziness in a sense. Okay, I am lazy and I don't want to do anything, so I depend on others to do everything for me. Have you ever heard someone using a sentence like that? And do you think that the people you know are dependent because they feel uncomfortable doing something, or maybe they feel dependent because they feel lazy doing something? Tell me in the comments. And in relation to these sentences as well, I want you to focus a little bit on the form. Take a look at all the sentences, take a look at all the verbs, and tell me, do you see any patterns repeating? Do you see any forms that are similar? If you find a pattern, you can write it in the comments. And I will show you the pattern in a few seconds as well. All right, let me help you a little bit more. Focus on that. I had my sister call. Get my friends to drive. I'm having my husband do. I will get my mother to pick up. So what about now? Did it get a bit clearer for you to find the pattern? You can see two different verbs here with two different verb patterns. As you can see, my sentence starts with the verb have or the verb get in the correct tense. After that, we focus on the person. Okay, had my sister, get my friends, have my husband, get my mother. And after that, we need an infinitive. But look at the infinitives. In number 1 and number 3, where the verb is have, the infinitive is bear, which means there is no to. Okay, call and do. But in number 2 and number 4, where we use the verb get, the infinitive is full, which means that we have to drive, to pick up. So here is your pattern. Okay? And the meaning of these sentences is basically that you assign a task to another person, okay? For whatever reason you don't want to do a task or you can't do a task, so you push it to another person. All right? So that's the pattern. Have somebody do something, get somebody to do something for me. Before we continue to practice, I want you to tell me if you have any questions. You can go to the comments now and write your questions, okay? And then we'll practice together with a few sentences that you need to transform. All right, so let's try to do an example together. I have 4 sentences here and another 4 in my next slide. So we'll see the first one now. I give you a situation. I missed the bus. My husband drove me to work. What I want you to do is use this information to make 2 sentences. One sentence with have somebody do something and the same sentence with get somebody to do something. So let's focus on our first option. Let's use the verb have. We're talking about the past, you see, so I'm gonna use had, okay? Now, who is the person that did this for me? My husband. I had my husband. What is the action? And I want the infinitive here. It's drive. I had my husband drive me to work. And if we want to use the same sentence with get, the only thing that we're going to change is use to. I got my husband to drive me, okay, to work. So here are your 2 options. I had my husband drive me. I got my husband to drive me. That was our example. Now I will give you some time to complete numbers 2, 3, and 4. And after we check these, we'll move on to another 4 sentences. Meanwhile, while you're working, you can also ask me any questions to clarify anything that is not very clear in your mind. Just focus on my example. I think it will help you. All the verbs here are past simple, so that's easy. You don't have to think it a lot. And follow the pattern on the box. Have somebody do, get somebody to do. I'll read the next 3 examples for you as well while you're working. I didn't cook. I asked my mother to bring some food. I didn't go to the market. My brother went for me. I couldn't finish my project. My friend helped me do it. So these are my 3 sentences. Go on, write your answers. Tell me what you think. I'll be waiting for you a little bit. Okay, so focus. We need I had, then the person, then the infinitive. Or I got, then the person, then to, and infinitive. So let's see number 2. My mother did it for me, so I had my mother bring food. Or I got my mother to bring food. Okay, only difference is the word to. The same with number 3. I had my brother go to the market. Or I got my brother to go to the market. And the last one, I had my friend help me. I got my friend to help me. So, tell me so far if it's clear. Before we continue with 4 more sentences, tell me if you have any questions. And let's see another 4. You can start writing straight away your answers. I was afraid to present. A colleague did it for me. Okay, so I had a presentation, but I was afraid. A colleague did it for me. My computer broke. My boyfriend fixed it. I didn't wake up to walk the dog. My father did it for me. And I was uncomfortable calling to complain about receiving a wrong package. My friend called for me. And in number 6, for example, which is a little bit longer, you can just use the basic information. You don't need to rewrite everything. Just use the basic verbs for your sentence, all right? Okay, so let's take it slowly. Again, we'll start with number 5, so you can continue writing your answers for the rest of them, okay? So we can say, I had a colleague present, or I got a colleague to present. In number 6, I had my boyfriend fix it. It means the computer, okay? Or I got my boyfriend to fix it. Number 7, I had my father walk the dog. I got my father to walk the dog. And the last one, I had my friend call and complain, or I got my friend to call and complain. So tell me if you have any questions so far, guys. I think it's pretty simple. So just remember 2 basic things. 1, You use that when you want to tell me that you assigned a task to another person, and you see that the focus is on the person, okay? The person is always highlighted in the sentence. You have colleague, boyfriend, father, friend. And the second thing that I need you to remember is that have needs bare infinitive, get needs full infinitive too. Now, let's take a look at something else. This same structure of sentences, have somebody do something and get somebody to do something, can be used for paid services. So I pay someone to do this job for me because I can't do it myself. Can you give me a few ideas in the comments? Go right now and type. What are things, services that you pay other people to do them for you because you can't do them on your own? Take a few seconds. Give me a few ideas. And I will show you a few pictures as well of people that are working in services like that. And you're going to give me a few examples with have and get again, all right? So here you see a professional. What is the job? Write the job in the comments. And I want you to give me two sentences, one with have somebody do something, another one with get somebody to do something. So here you see a hairdresser. Okay, let's do one. Let's do this as an example, and then I have more picture for you. So you could say, I had who the hairdresser do my hair, or I got the hairdresser to do my hair. It's exactly what we saw before. But now think about it. Usually, we go to the hairdresser to do our hair, but it's not necessary to focus on the person. All your friends know that you are going to the hairdresser to do your hair. So why do you have to mention the person again? Well, you don't have to mention the person. One option is what we learned in our previous class, to use the passive voice. So you could just say, my hair was done by someone, but we don't mention who. However, another very common option in this case is this form. Have or get the object and past participle. I had my hair done by a hairdresser, but we don't really mention that here. I got my hair done. So you see the difference. In the first couple of sentences, we focus on the person. The person is a basic part of our sentence. In the next two sentences, we focus on the action and not on the person this time. Okay, so I had my hair done, I got my hair done. Here you can use both verbs and there is no difference at all. We use the past participle for both of them. Okay, have something done, get something done. Let's do another example. Here you can see a mechanic. So go to the comments and first tell me, write the two sentences with have somebody do and get somebody to do. But here you're going to use the mechanic. What does the mechanic do? Right? Use the same patterns that we used in our previous picture with the hairdresser. And you can use the past simple as well, it's fine, okay? To keep it simple. So we have I had the mechanic fix my car. I got the mechanic to fix my car. And there is a focus on the person. Now, we said that the passive voice would be my car was fixed. Can you go to the comments and tell me again? Let's see if you remember. What will the sentence be if I use have something done or get something done? And remember, in the sentence that I want you to write now, we don't focus on the person, so you don't include the word mechanic. You just include the object and the action, but not the person. So it would look like that. I had my car fixed by the mechanic. You don't need to say that. We all know who fixes the car. Or I got my car fixed. Again, the first one focuses on the person, the second one on the action. Let's do another one. I have a few more pictures for you. You can see a gardener here. Now we'll start focusing on the last sentence for you, okay? The usual way with the person. I had the gardener mow the lawn. I got the gardener to mow the lawn. Mow means to cut the grass, okay? Mow the lawn. The passive voice would be the lawn was mowed. And go to the comments and tell me what is the correct sentence for the form have something done or get something done. Tell me the answer in the comments. Let's see. So I had what? The lawn mowed. Or I got the lawn mowed. What does that mean? That I had the grass cut. That's it. And let's go to our next picture. Again, you can see focus on the person, focus on the action. Here we have a manicurist, so doing nails. If you want to include the person, you would say, I had the manicurist do my nails, or I got the manicurist to do my nails. The passive voice is my nails were done. Go to the comments and tell me the sentence that is missing with have something done or get something done. Short sentence, simple sentence, don't have to overthink it. So here it is. I had, oops, sorry, wrong verb. I had my nails done, not mowed, definitely not mowed. And I got my nails done, all right? And our next picture is a dentist. I don't know if you like the dentist, many people don't. I had the dentist clean my teeth. I got the dentist to clean my teeth. Passive voice, my teeth were cleaned. What's the missing sentence now? Have something done, remember, is a form. Take a look at it. Think about it. And here is your sentence. I had my teeth cleaned, or I got my teeth cleaned. And let's move on to this one. You don't see the person, but do you know how we call the person who helps us do our taxes? It's an accountant. So you could say, I had the accountant do my taxes. or I got the accountant to do my taxes. Passive voice, my taxes were done. Give me the last sentence. Remember, the form is have something done or get something done. I'm waiting for a few more seconds for you to write your answer. And here it is. I had my taxes done or I got my taxes done. And again, we focus on the person with the first two, we focus on the action with the second two. So I want you to tell me if you have any questions. Now is your chance because we have reached the end of our class. Okay? So do you need any clarifications? Is there something that is not very clear? Just remember two things. If you want to focus on the person, you can use I have somebody do or I get somebody to do something. If you don't want to focus on the person, you use passive forms. Okay, this was done, or I have this done, I get this done. And let's recap, see what we talked about today. We had a short reading about things that dependent people will do, and we focused our grammar on get, have somebody to do something plus passive voice alternatives. So tell me, what did you learn today, and what was your favorite part of the lesson? Tell me the first thing that comes in your mind that stuck with you. And thank you for being here for one more class. I'm really glad to have been here with you, and I wish you a great rest of the day. Bye, guys.